Hey, what is going on, good kind people? It's the return of the RCWR show. Lee Sanders here. What is good kind people, man? We're coming at you for Wednesday night of June 16th, 2021. It feels so great to be back with you guys. So technically, we did come back already on Tuesday, but I know there's a lot of you guys that don't particularly care for NWA Power. And look, I totally get it for some of our listeners that's out there, because some of you guys are in a position right now where you honestly, as small as it may seem for some of you are not able to pay for Fight TV that $5, $6, $7 a month so you can check out the NWA content. And then there's others that, well, you know what, I was so used to being able to check it out for free. Now it's behind a paywall. Nah, bump that. I don't care about that. Nah, I'm good. So I know there's a little bit of a disconnect for some of our listeners when it comes to the talk of NWA Power. That's why we just have that be a separate standalone episode, as it has been for these past several weeks. That way, for those that particularly care about what I think of the NWA product, it's tailor-made basically for them. You notice that's why we don't include the talk of the NWA on the main shows and everything. So we actually came back on Tuesday, so that was kind of like a little bit of a teaser that we had going on. But this is officially the true return of the RCWR show. So happy to be back. I gotta tell you, it was so weird being not only back in the area, but then just kind of knowing in the back of my mind that I was a couple of days away from returning to the shows. And I had a few people that reached out to me. Hey man, how you feeling? You ready? You ready to get back on that saddle again? As far as doing the shows and everything. And my whole thing was, yeah, I do kind of miss it, but I was so used to just enjoying the civilian life or whatever. But no bull. A day before I was to make my return back to the shows and everything, I mean, this is pretty much how I felt in a nutshell. And there's a hilarious story. I'll show that to you guys in a little bit. There's a hilarious story. I mean, that pretty much was me. Now, true story, I did not pose for this picture whatsoever. I did not pose for that picture whatsoever. What ended up happening, my girl actually went to the bathroom, and when she came out, this is how she found me. And, she tried to see if I was awake. I wasn't responding, so she was, okay, he's still sleeping. So rather than try to wake me up, she just decided, okay, this is a funny moment right here for a picture. So she took it. And she took it. But yeah, that's going to be my new meme. Like whenever something comes about, I mean, honestly, that's going to be me from here on out. It's, hey, you excited to be going back to work tomorrow? Especially if it's off of a really fun weekend. I'm just going to have that image ready to go. Hey, don't forget, tomorrow you got to do your taxes. And I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to keep playing it just like that. I think we need to make that photo. We got to somehow incorporate that in the show, where maybe it can be some type of a super chat thing that comes about where, different levels of a super chat. $1 you get to see this GIF or this image. Second one you get to, I got to figure out some type of a really cool way to do something like that. But it was nice. It was nice. And hey, before I go any further, I hope you guys have been having a fantastic week so far. And if it hasn't been getting good just yet, hopefully it gets good for you guys in a hot minute. Before I go any further into the show here, definitely it is official. Mr. and Mrs. Sanders. It is now official. And it's awesome. It's awesome. I got to tell you, from the bottom of my heart, because this is really my first time really publicly in depth going in on this. I kind of mentioned it a little bit on the Tuesday show and everything, but from the bottom of my heart, I want to send a just wrap around, online here. I'm just putting online hugs over everybody that reached out to me and wished me congrats, offered me best wishes to Tams as well. It was so amazing. I love it when social media works in such the beautiful way that I saw it displayed that weekend of my wedding. Especially in a day and age where, let's be honest, with this pandemic, definitely some trying times. Definitely a lot of ugliness was out there in the air and everything. And in a social age society where we as a society seem to latch on more to negative stuff, and whenever something positive kind of comes about, it's kind of that's a little bit boring, I don't really care about that, fuck that. It's nice to see so many people gravitate towards something that is so positive and everything, that really uplifts the spirits and all of that good shit. And it was awesome just seeing people just out of nowhere, whether it was people I've never even had a conversation with before, no interactions with before whatsoever, wishing me and the missus well, or somebody I haven't even thought about in a long time that just reached out and offered. It really moved me. It really took me back. It really did. And it was just so awesome feeling all of that great love and support. At the same time, however, I was reminded about those that did not reach out to me. And this isn't any personal shade or personal shot at anybody in particular, because it's really not. Because I know for some people, if they could, they would have been at the wedding without a shadow of doubt. And, to those that know who they are, they're exempt. I'm not even thinking about them, because there was actually a nice handful of amount of people that sadly could not come to my wedding and everything, that was supposed to be representing my side of the family and everything, be it friend, or relative, just be representing my side. And there was a decent amount of folks that weren't able to attend because something was going on in their personal life, and totally exempt. But the individuals that, the ones that was kind of like most disappointing to me, without really going the Debbie Downer route and everything, the ones that in the past I had spent so much time, so much energy, especially trying to repair past relationships from years prior and everything, it just really made me take a step back and really look at the whole picture, and really just say to myself going forward, hey man, you really got to home in on the people that are taking time out of their schedule and really don't have to be here with you and your wife, but they want to be here because they respect, they love, they appreciate you guys, they want nothing but the very best for you guys. I mean, we had people that had traveled from all different types of states to come be with us. Some either took a flight, most of them had drove to the event and everything. And it just really made me take a step back and just, wow, man, I'm forever loyal to these people that took the time out. And you guys kind of know about me by now. I'm one of those type of people who, you want my friendship, you want my loyalty. I will be the best of friends that you will ever have if you're able to win my loyalty over and everything. But when you have my loyalty, when you have my friendship, anything I can do to help, I'm pretty much there. My only thing is when it comes time for my need, that, hey, I definitely was there for you in some form. You're definitely there for me and everything. And it just really made me take a step back and just, I know who my friends are. I know who my family is. And, really just going forward, don't wallow and mellow on the past. We're being real, we're being 100 and everything. One of the people that I had wished was there was my mom. I've had a very estranged relationship with my mom for about 15 years now. And the only parent. Only parent. She raised me. Single mom. God fucking bless her, appreciate everything that she did for me as a single mom, but I gotta tell you, as far as, really being like a best friend and all that other shit, she sucked at that. She sucked at that. But I just found as I got older, she cared more about being antisocial, not having anything to do. And I used to try to have her be involved in my life, but she just wanted to just, yeah, but it's been about 15 years now, It was kind of that, that moment right there. And I'm not telling you anything that Tams doesn't already know, but, it's kind of one of those deals where, man, I really wish that this person under different circumstances, I wish this person would have been here. I wish maybe this person would have been here, but I got my clarity in that moment. And really the clarity in that moment that I got was focus on the here, focus on the now. Don't get so caught up in the past, because what's past is past. Best thing you can do is just learn from those things, apply it to your life in such fashion where, you make sure you don't go down that path that these individuals decided that they were going to be going on. But man, yeah, it was so awesome. I got a couple more pics I could definitely show you guys about the wedding and everything. But yeah, it was so nice. It was a wedding beach that we did. We got married on a private beach. There's me and the missus, and there's our best friend, who is the maid of honor there, and everybody represented, man. Everybody represented. Everybody came to that joint in style. I was loving it, man. I was freaking loving it. Oh my God, though. I can't wait to, and when I do get ready to have the rest of the pictures, I will definitely put them up on the Facebook page. But because as it stands right now, it's a tedious process because it's a small wedding company that we basically, they got rave reviews and everything. I'll see if I can maybe get the name of them. So anybody that is thinking about maybe getting their services and you're going to be there in that area, I'll hook you guys up with the info, and, you could pass it on to your loved one, friend, or whatever. But they went through a couple of weddings going into that weekend that we got married. So there's tons of pictures that they are still developing, and we pretty much were told straight up it could take about up to 2 months before we're able to get all the high resolution developed pictures and everything. So it's like, oh, you're killing me, Petey. So we basically had put out a full court press to all our friends and family that was there at the ceremony and said, look, anybody that took pictures, anybody that took videos, we want to see them. Send it to us so we can, start sharing it on our social media outlets and everything. So a couple of family members actually had kicked in and were able to send what they were able to send. There's tons more, but there's a lot that I'm just honestly sitting back on. Just for the sentimental, I don't need to put everything out there, but yeah, I think you guys feel exactly where I'm coming from and everything. So, but yeah, it was so beautiful having that private beach all to ourselves, getting married. I had totally forgot about what the playlist was, because when we were setting up the wedding months and months in advance, I mean, this was pretty much a year in the making. That we had this down. And when it came to making the playlist for, okay, what's the groom gonna come to, what's the bride gonna be coming to, okay, what are you guys gonna be getting married to, all of that. When you finally pass the vows, you do the kiss, what are you guys gonna be coming out to, how's it gonna end, what song, all that. I totally forgot about the playlist, because it was a playlist that me and Tams actually had to sit down and come up with. And I didn't remember until I actually was there at the wedding, and the very first song that came on, dudes, I almost lost my fucking shit. One of my all-time favorite U2 songs, And no, it's not With or Without You, although that is number two. That's number two. My all-time favorite U2 song at number one has to be All I Want Is You. And that was the very first song that came on as I'm just, standing with the minister. We're waiting and the music is playing and everything. And that song comes on and I damn near fucking balled out right there on the spot. I'm like, nah, man, I gotta tough this out, man. Nah. Like, no, we ain't doing that. No, not like that. Not like that. And Tams was pretty close to balling out as well. And then the very next song that came on was something by George Strait. I can't remember the name of the song right now. I promise you though, after tonight, I will definitely remember the song going forward because I'm a big George Strait fan, but I don't know his entire discography. Like I haven't listened to everything. I kind of more so know about the hits than like all of his freaking songs. Like I would know with maybe U2 or STP and all that. And and Tams almost lost her shit when she heard the George Strait song. I mean, she almost lost her shit with the U2 song, but then she really was about to just fucking go bonkers when the George Strait song came, man. Beautiful, man. It was so breathtaking. We took about maybe with the professional photography crew, we took about maybe somewhere between 75 to 100 pictures, professionally taken. And we had the option to actually stream the wedding via Facebook. Not on our personal pages. I'm kind of under the impression that maybe they were gonna take pictures, or they were rather gonna record and stream it through, their official, channel and all that for, those that obviously couldn't attend and, and we seriously were looking into that for you guys, because we actually did bring that up. We were like, okay, well, maybe we should consider streaming it live, for those that aren't able to attend, but, they want to somehow represent, but they wanted $250. And I was like, ooh, that's way too fucking much. Like, no, that's way too fucking much. So we passed on it, and we actually came pretty close. At least I did. I came pretty close because you guys know I'm big into photography, video recording and all that shit. I actually came this close, like that close to taking my tripod, some lighting equipment and all that. And I was just gonna have somebody at the wedding pretty much, okay, look, here's the login for Facebook. We got it set up. Here you go, start recording. We were going to do it like that, but it was like, nah, that wouldn't be fair to them. That would kind of be a disservice because, we really want for our guests to enjoy the wedding. And then I didn't want to have that responsibility. Okay, I also got to take all of this goddamn equipment, over to the joint as well. I didn't want to deal with all of that shit. So I just pretty much said, fuck it, just fuck it. So I got a couple more picks I can actually show you guys. Don't worry, this isn't going to be an entire show about wedding picks and all that, but I know we were gone for like 2 weeks and everything, so I definitely want to show you guys a couple of more, because we stayed at a really nice little resort down there. I loved it. I fucking loved it. It was great. It was totally fucking great. Let's see. As a matter of fact, let's go right to this one. Yeah, this kind of gives you an idea a little bit of the resort that we had stayed at. And this was down in North Carolina. This was down in North Carolina where we got married and where we had the resort. Oh my God, man. The resort was so fucking beautiful, man. I mean, when you come in, it just had these nice hardwood floors to kind of kick things off. And then you went into some areas where there was this nice, pretty marble texture that was going on. Like, you definitely had it set up in the kitchen. Hardwood floors was in the dining room. I mean, it was nice. It was so freaking beautiful. Very spacious. It felt like, it felt like you were in a condo / apartment, but there was just so much space. Loved it. Nice marble countertops in the kitchen area. Man, I'm telling you, man, y'all, I was in fucking heaven. I was in fucking heaven. Cause Tams, when she was looking up the resorts, she said to me, "Hey, I found a really good resort. Would you be interested?" And I told her, I said, "Look, I said, I trust you. I trust your taste. You know how I am. You know what I expect. So surprise me." She's like, "So you don't even want to see the pictures?" Or I'm like, "Nope." I'm like, "Surprise me." So you know what I like, surprise me. So boy, was I really, this was the best. I loved it. I loved it. Had a spa, had a swimming pool. Neither of which we used because a couple of those days while we were there, it had rained, and it was really really muggy. Dealing with a lot of insects out there too, so it was kind of like, nah, let's just take it easy. And we brought the pet along. We actually had brought our furry little pickamies along with us. We really didn't want to have somebody babysit her because mostly everybody that we knew was going to be coming to the wedding. So we actually snuck her in to this resort, and it was pretty much one of those. If anybody asks, this is a service dog, and it's like, okay, so what are they? I have anxiety, and I have, right. I'm like one of those type of people. If anybody asks, but no, it never got to a point where we bumped into anybody that wanted to know, hey, what's going on with that dog? It was never a case like that whatsoever. And what's this one? Let me see what this one is. Yeah. We had a nice little get together after the wedding. We had invited everybody over for cake, champagne. We opened up a couple of presents there. There's that countertop I was talking about. Nice, good, strong marble finish. I loved it. It was awesome. And boy, cutting that cake was, oof. We had so much cake, guys. The girl, let me tell you something, man. Listen to your woman. That's all I gotta say. Listen to your woman, listen to your spouse, because when they are trying to give you that feedback, it's like, and you're like, no, we're gonna do this. No. Trust their instincts more. So originally, as you see of that cake was originally supposed to be a 1-layer cake. And I said to Tams, I said, nah, man, we got so many people that's coming. Nah, let's make it a 3-layer cake. Make it a 3-sheet layer cake. And she's like, yeah, but that's going to cost a little bit more money. I said, yeah, but we got so many people that's going to be showing up. I'm like, trust me, when it's all said and done, we do this right, there's pretty much just going to be 1 layer of cake left over. Boy, were we wrong. We were super fucking wrong. I thought there was going to be way less cake than what we had. It was weird. It was, especially because we had kids that also came to the little wedding cake cutting reception and everything. None of the kids had cake. I was really taken back by that. None of the kids wanted cake. None of the kids wanted soda. The kids wanted water. I mean, hey, I can't knock that. I respect the hell out of that. But it was like, damn, no cake? No soda? Okay, all right. It is what it is. No cake, no soda. Okay. So we had a lot of cake that was left over. That I really felt bad about, because how much cake did we have left over? We essentially had 2 layers of cake left over. The very first layer at the very top that you see, the smallest, that had disappeared. And then maybe there was about a slice or 2 that was cut. And that pretty much was it. And we had all that cake that was left over, and we had to sadly throw all of that cake away. And I said to Tams, I said, look, it doesn't make sense for us to go to the store, buy all this unnecessary Tupperware just so we can take the cake with us. I'm like, I'm honestly good. And, she was good too, but we spent a decent amount of money on that cake. It kind of sucked, man. It kind of sucked. One thing I can tell you out there in North Carolina, and me and a few other people were talking about this, man, very fucking red state. I mean, that state bleeds red. We saw so many. I'm not trying to go the political route. I'm only stating a point of observation. And it just really took me back. But just from billboards to signs, just how very pro-Trump it is out there. And you also had picked up a little bit of discrimination that was out there as well. I'll give you guys an example. This ain't no long-winded story either. But you saw the cake, right? So that cake actually was made from a local mom and pop bakery. And originally, Tams was going to see that the cake got dropped off before she went to go do her hair appointment. And I don't know how sister forgot, but I said to her, look, the night before, I said to her, you just focus on your hair appointment. I'm going to be here at the condo a bit longer than you, because I was doing some homework and stuff. I'm like, I will make sure that I intercept the cake. I'm like, we've already paid for it, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so he's just dropping it off. Like, that's right. I'm like, okay, go do your hair appointment. I will intercept the cake guy. So, we go into the next day. Tams is actually still there. I'm going, yo, you're supposed to be gone already. What the hell? She's like, yeah, but the cake is supposed to be delivered. I'm like, we already talked about this. Right? Like, what the hell? So she's in the shower doing her thing. I get a call from the cake guy. He's like, hey, I'm here. Where exactly am I supposed to be going? I give him the directions. Guy pops up. And who's the comedian? Get Her Done. He kind of looked a little bit like that guy, but much skinnier. Looked a little bit more raggedier. And, he comes in and, he's dropping off the cake and everything. Dudes, the cake was not in a box. I mean, this is how laid back it is out there, at least in some parts of North Carolina. This man didn't even have a damn cake in a box. This man still had the cake on a baking sheet. My man still had the cake on a baking sheet. I was like, yo, that's hardcore ghetto, man. Okay, all right, cool. I can look past that. It's all good. I can look past that. Where my man lost me, though, he goes, oh, so, and at this point, Tam's got out the shower. She's dressed up and everything, and, she's looking at the cake and everything. And the guy goes, so what's the occasion here for this cake? Yeah, this is exactly how he sounded. Yeah, and I say to him, oh, it's for our wedding. We're getting married later today. And the motherfucker looks at Tams like, oh, you marrying one of them? Kind of like, a ninja, one of those. And he just basically said, well, all right, y'all set. All right, now y'all take care. And it was like, wow, like no congratulations or, oh, that's awesome to hear. Hey, cool. Nice that you have our company be part of this moment, Hey, cool. Well, look, if you ever need our services again or somebody, hey, get $5 off or, nothing like that. It was just, it was like, and I had dealt with that a couple of times while we were out there. Believe it or not, I had dealt with that a couple of times. And when I had saw some of the wedding reception party, that came in, I was like, yo, did you see what was going on with some of them signs? Some of them like, oh yeah. They're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, did this state go for Trump in the election? Like, yep. I'm like, you sure? Like, no, yo, yeah, it did. And we're like, damn. So yeah, a little chilly in some areas there. I tell you what, I couldn't wait to after the wedding, which was awesome. Everybody involved in the wedding that worked there, even from the minister, everything was cool. No complaints about that whatsoever. Everything was just so fucking cool, so fucking laid back. Can't complain about that whatsoever. But I definitely was like, yo, it's time to roll out. Seriously, like it's time to roll out. Oh, good shit though, man. It was good shit though. Let me see what else I got for you guys. Yeah, we already showed you that. Yeah, we already showed you that one. What's this one? We already showed you that one. That's pretty much me as I'm on my way to a cruise. So we went from North Carolina. We actually came back home for a day. to drop stuff off and everything and figure out, okay, what's next. Because we actually were going to go up to New York originally, but the hotel that I had booked, there was a major contradiction. On the one hand, it was, we accept pets. But then, according to some of the most recent reviews from travelers, that hotel did not accept pets. So there was conflicting information. It turns out, in reality, they did not take pets. So that put us in a really, really bad position where it was, okay, well, now what? Because where we were trying to go stay in New York, the area we were trying to go up and stay at wasn't exactly pet friendly as far as hotels go. So it was like, whoa, wow. When initially we thought, okay, here's a cool place. We actually had found something, and it turns out, no, that wasn't the case at all. So we ended up, like I said, we came back, re-strategized, and then we actually ended up going to Virginia. And from Virginia, we had a nice little hotel that we had stayed at, and we actually had hopped on a DC cruise going into the weekend, and that was awesome. So this was the face I was making on the way to that cruise and everything. And at this point, this picture you guys can see right here, and for those of you that's listening to the audio version of this, you guys really need to go out of your way and make sure you try to represent and check out the web stream versions, because you get to see my smiling face, and you get to see some of the stuff that I'm sharing with our audience during the initial live stream and everything. So that's us at this point. We're actually on the boat, and the boat is in motion. So that was awesome. My dinner was really cool too. Check that out. Now that may look really, really small to some of you guys, but man, once you took the knife and fork and you actually started breaking that food down, it was actually a nice little amount that they had, man. It was a nice little amount. For those of you that's in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, basically come on through to DC, go up to the waterfront, Southwest DC, go up to the waterfront. That cruise right there. That's the joint I'm talking about. Just right there. You guys know the area. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It was nice though, man. We had a nice DJ. There was an entourage that was getting a little bit rowdy at times and everything. And I kind of understood because it was somebody's birthday and all that. But the combination of that and the fact that we were kind of towards the back of the boat, so we kept hearing the motor, it was a little bit hard. A combination of both of those things, it was kind of hard to get lost in the conversation you were having with other people that were within your vicinity or sitting across from you and everything. It was really hard. But what really was the entourage that was there. It got pretty freaking rowdy. If you guys can't quite make out what that is, basically this is what I had. I had salmon, broccoli, and rice, and a little bit of red pasta sauce. It was really nice. They really did a good job in preparing that. Some good shit. Here is cool pic of me. Here's a cool pic of me. Boat still in motion. I wasn't even aware that Tams had took this picture, but I spent like about, and I think she was with me for about, I think it was about a half hour. We actually were just out on the pier, just taking in the sights. I really wasn't talking that much. I was really just enjoying my beer like I got right now while I'm talking with you guys, and just enjoying the breathtaking views that I was seeing, man. Here's a little video for you guys. That's what was going on pretty much by the time we got off the boat, and it was time for us to leave and everything. Just beautiful. Let me actually blow that up a little bit more. Blow that up a little bit more, so you guys can see. I'm gonna actually let that video play again for you guys. Let that video play again for you guys. There you go. It's a little bit muggy, a little bit partly cloudy out there, man. It was beautiful. The camera angle here, it didn't do it justice. It doesn't do it justice. You know, you just would have actually had to been there and see what was going on there. And yeah, that's a still shot of that one. Of course, how your man was looking day of the wedding and everything. Got my GQ pose going on and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I'm pretty much willing to show at this point. I'll probably share a couple of more. I know, like, between Mish and DT, and I definitely want to give a shout out to them, and also my good friend and Jason Solomonster sounds off. I definitely want to give those three guys particular a much love and appreciation for you know, they really went out of their way. You know, hey, congrats. You know, hope it's a good one. I'm so happy for you guys. You know, they really went out of their way to, you know, give their congrats and everything. So that was just fucking badass. I fucking loved it, man. But yeah, good time, man. So now that it's settled in, it's been about what? It's been about almost a week and a half, so to speak. Yeah, it's been about a week and a half. It's going to be 2 weeks as of this weekend. Feels like a dream at this point. You know, if you ask me straight up, it feels like a dream. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, wait, did that happen? Did I get married? And, you know, and then sometimes, like, I just got to go like this to fill my ring. And it's like, yeah, it is. It did happen. It actually did happen. So it was nice. It was nice not thinking about the shows. It was nice to just kick back and just, all right, all you got to do is just focus on your wedding, focus on your honeymoon, focus on your vacation. Just enjoy yourself, decompress. Don't think wrestling. Don't talk wrestling. The only thing I did wrestling related, though, I did check out that NWA When Our Shadows Fall pay-per-view event. And I actually had streamed it, did a little private viewing with some buddies in the Discord. And that pretty much was it. I didn't do a post show after the event was over. I pretty much was like, after it was done, I'm like, okay, it's over. Like, I'm out. It was kind of like one of those type of deals. So I did not watch any of the other programmings that went down for that week. I pretty much just took it fucking easy, man. What I want to do right now, if you guys can just indulge me for a quick second, I actually want to remove some templates here. So you're going to hear a little bit of a ding in the background. I want to just remove some stuff because I want to make sure that the chat notifications are active, because I do see that there's been a couple of messages that's been coming in, but you guys are not able to see yourselves in the chat box because I got all these layers that needs to be moved here. So bear with me a second here. So it was funny because when it came time to watch WWE RAW for this week, I had many people say to me, Lee, you didn't miss a goddamn thing. You were gone for essentially 2 weeks and you didn't miss a goddamn thing, yo. Matter of fact, you about to check out Eva Marie's WWE return. I'm going, oh, really? I'm like, okay, so just in time for that. Okay, well, then this should be pretty good. Let's see what happens here. I gotta say, Raw for this week, and I did poll you guys. I asked you guys straight up, what did you think about, and actually, let me see here. I think that actually might have done the trick. Let me see what's going on here. And let's bring that back up. Okay, so I actually want to, give me a second here. I want to just pull the chat box up. So let me actually, I think that will do it. Actually, you know what? Move it. Give me a second here, guys. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so it actually needs to move up. There we go. So it actually needs to move up. All right, so now that should be visible. And let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, I definitely was happy about Samoa Joe. I'll talk about Samoa Joe in a hot second there. I'll definitely talk about Samoa Joe in a hot second. But watching WWE Raw this week, I did poll you guys leading up to the return. I wanted to know what you guys think about this week's WWE Raw. And I got to rely a little bit more on the YouTube poll here. So for those of you that maybe cast a vote on Twitter, don't take it personal. I just saw more votes were coming in on YouTube, on our YouTube communities tab than I did over on Twitter. And I see about 72% of you gave Raw for this week a thumbs down, whereas 28% of you gave it a thumbs up. Now, see, I can't help but wonder if the majority of you all that voted thumbs down felt the way that you did because of the fact you got trolled by Eva Marie, slash WWE really, that had trolled you, or if you just honestly felt that the show was, kind of one of those type of deals. And look, let's talk about the whole Piper Niven thing. First of all, I thought it was kind of hilarious seeing a boatload of people that were who is this? Who? And you can easily catch people in a lie. You can easily catch people in a lie when it comes to shit like that, because obviously you got the people, and your people that's actually making the effort, and they're making their rounds, checking out any and everything, whether it's WWE related, or it's a case where they love indie wrestling and they're going out of their way and they're checking out any and everything indie wrestling related and everything. But when you look particularly at the case of Piper Niven has been involved with WWE for a good minute now. Even if you weren't, even if it was a case where like somehow you were living under a rock, you knew at least enough about her to know she's been in WWE for a couple of years now, like almost 4 years now, right? Almost 4 years she's been involved. Everything goes back to the Mae Young Classic back in 2017. And then pretty much from there, she was on a few episodes of throughout 2019 to 2021. She was on many episodes of NXT UK. And look, I get it. We got a decent amount of people that don't watch NXT UK, myself included. I don't hold it against anybody that does not go out of their way and check out NXT UK. Look, when it's all said and done, we've been on this show many times, and it's a case of how many hours of wrestling programming a week are you getting from this show, and then this promotion. I mean, the hours, remember, we added it up a couple of weeks ago, and it's ridiculous. If just minus the pay-per-views, if I remember correctly, you're looking at about almost 20 hours, give or take, minus the pay-per-views. So it's a lot. It can be taxing for some. So I don't blame any of you guys that haven't been watching the NXT UK joint, but you should at least know enough that, oh, no, that's that girl. That's that girl that was in that Mae Young Classic. That's that girl that was down there in NXT UK and everything. So I actually was very happy to see her. You're like, okay, Eva Marie taking on Naomi. I'm looking at that. I'm seeing the advertising, the graphic and all that going into Monday's Raw. I'm going quietly to myself, there's no way that match is going to happen. There is going to be some type of a Rick roll that's going to go down. Question is, what form? But something's going down. There's no way Eva's going to go through with this match. She's either going to just fucking come out there, kind of do some fucking right said Fred, I'm too sexy for this match, and she settles for a count out or some stupid shit. Somehow we're not going to see her wrestle. That was just my gut instinct. And to basically see Piper Niven come out there, and then she's essentially Eva Marie, right? Because you see what happened post-match, and your winner, Eva Marie. Okay, so Piper Niven is essentially calling herself Piper Niven, so to speak. I mean, obviously, we need a little bit more clarity as we go into, excuse me, this coming week's Monday Night Raw and everything. But that was just hilarious how that shit had went down. And Piper Niven, excuse me once again, let me tell you something about Piper Niven. Piper Niven is a fucking beast. That girl is a fucking beast. That girl can fucking go. Now, I've seen enough of her shit. Damn good. And if you guys don't believe me on that, you weren't really that impressed with what you had saw of her against Naomi and everything. By the way, shout out to Naomi. We know that Naomi, in her own respected right, is one hell of a in-ring performer. Shout out to her for really going in there and really trying to help tell that story of putting Piper Niven over and everything. But go back to the Mae Young Classic and look at when Piper Niven had took on in-ring veteran wrestler Serena Deeb. Look at when all that shit went down. She took on Santana Garrett, defeated her, then went on into the next round, took on Serena Deeb, and then ultimately she squared off against Toni Storm. I mean, those are like three examples, three completely different styles. You don't know nothing about Piper Niven, you pretty much need to start there, and you'll definitely come and appreciate her a lot more if what you saw this past Monday left a little bit of a bitter taste in your mouth. But you know, the one thing that really had me take a step back and go, wow, we're really doing this yet again. Have we not learned anything from Hana Kimura? Have we not learned anything from that? And that was the fact that there were some knuckleheads. I'm not saying it was everybody, but you had a couple of bad apples out there of wrestling fans that wanted to go to social media and make fun of Piper Niven. They wanted to make fun of her because of her physical appearance. They wanted to make fun of her because of her size. And I tell you what, it was a beautiful thing to see not just fellow wrestlers, but also a good majority of wrestling fans that were coming together. And it wasn't a case of, well, I'm sucking the dick of this one wrestling star and I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to get noticed. I want that like, I want that retweet, you know, or hey, you can't insult my favorite star. It wasn't, this was kind of one of those rare instances where it wasn't even that type of a beast. Instead, it was just, no, flat out, that is just wrong. What the hell? And, you know, look, for me, you know what I always like to say to people when it comes to social media, you got to just rise above that fucking bullshit. Haters are gonna hate. There is nothing that you can say, there is nothing that you can do that is always going to 100% of the time please whoever. The moment that you start focusing more on an individual rather than focus on your own thing, you know, you're pretty much just, not only are you admitting defeat, but you're giving that particular individual way too much power. You are giving them way too much fucking real estate inside of your head, and that's just gonna fuck you up tremendously, right? So you know me, if it ain't of positive energy, if it ain't of positivity, I'm not about that shit. I'm squashing it and I'm just moving on. But in that instance, seeing what was going on with Piper Niven, it was just, you know, because if you notice, I didn't really comment about, you know, hardly anything while I was away. But I trust me, I was taking notes about some of the stuff that I was seeing. And it was beautiful to see everybody just come together and pretty much squash that shit and really put their foot down on the knuckleheads that wanted to go out of their way and body sham Piper Niven and everything. And I just couldn't help but look at that and say, yeah, as if a majority of the pro wrestling fan that's out there has something to really be fucking talking about when they're trying to point the finger and talk about how somebody else looks and all that other shit. Some of us, you know, myself included, you know, we're either a little bit pudgy, we're balding, we're already bald, you know, maybe we got one eye, we got a tooth missing, or, we got an arm missing or some kind of other shit. So it's kind of like, again, the point, who are we to fucking judge? Who are we to fucking criticize and all that? And just so weird to me seeing that type of shit go down the way that it did, because if there was ever that one society where come as you are, you're okay. You will be accepted just as you are. Wrestling industry, like all wrestling fans, it doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, black, white, Hispanic, male, female, old person, young person, kid, it doesn't matter. You like pro wrestling, you are just forever within that cult. You are part of that family, no matter what. And it's got to be one of a few sports industries, or just industries in general, where don't got to worry about discrimination. Don't got to worry about it. Hey, I like them too. Hey, did you go see, go to any wrestling event and it's so easy to make a fucking friend or two as a result, because of just, one common thing, basically, whether it's the promotion or it's a talent, hell, maybe the type of merchandise that you're wearing or you got on you. It's just so amazing how some of those conversations start at those events, and it blossoms into a really cool friendship and everything. So that for me, it just really made me shake my head and say, nah, man, we're supposed to be better than this. We're supposed to, and look, for all we know, not for nothing, but the way some people go about social media nowadays, when you look at their profiles, it's clear as day when you look up their profiles that they are a trolling account. And so at that point, you got to decide whether or not you're going to actually respond to that individual, give them that real estate. Yeah, I got free space. Here, go ahead. My mind's open. Go ahead. Walk on in there. Take a shit. Or you're just going to keep it moving along. And I tell you what, there's been many times where I've made some type of a comment on social media. Hell, I'll give you a recent one. Going back to the wedding. I remember when I had shared on social media, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Sanders. And I remember how I had let an hour or two go past, and I just went back, was checking out the comments, making sure I didn't miss anybody. I was trying to make sure that I hearted every single heart, liked, or retweet, whatever the fuck it was. Just make sure I'm showing that notification to let that person know that left it. I did see it. I appreciated it. And, there was one comment I had saw. It was just an image of some bald-head Japanese wrestler. I didn't understand what the fuck that was about. I quietly just looked up that person's profile, and first thing I saw, we had no mutual followers in common. There was no followers that, okay, they like, okay, and I'm actually friends with, oh, okay, cool. Nothing like that whatsoever. Next thing I did was looked at some of their tweet activity, and I saw that they had a strong tendency of always spamming that post of that bald-head Japanese wrestler and not saying anything. So, like I normally would do, I hit the block button. That's what I did. I just canceled out that noise. Sometimes you don't have to be vocal about when somebody is making fun of you and all that other shit. And I've kind of learned over the years that, when you start going on and you talk about it and you kind of give that indication that it's bothering you, that individual or group of individuals decides upon themselves, we're putting some kinks in that armor. Let's pile on. Let's keep going there. And they just keep egging on. They're hoping that you're going to have that flip out, kirk out moment, right? It's all about them getting their jollies off. And the more power that you're able to give these guys, the more fun they're going to have exploiting the hell out of you. So, for me, you just got to learn how to, and I tell this to anybody that thinks about doing the whole social media thing. on a regular basis. One, have some thick skin. And two, when you come across bullshit like what I described and what Piper Niven dealt with, you don't have to broadcast every single time something's coming your way. And nah, a lot of times you honestly can just, oh, this person said XYZ. Okay, all right, cool. Quietly just mute, block their ass, keep it moving right along. So really powerful button that a lot of people should have no shame in fucking exploiting the hell out of. But to go back to Piper Niven's debut once again on Monday Night Raw, I thought she did pretty good. I thought she hit it out of the park. I liked how they pretty much had booked her. So I can't wait to see this next developing chapter that's going on there with Eva Marie. Kudos to WWE for trolling the hell out of the WWE fan base. You know, look, you got to give WWE a little bit of credit here because at least they're being consistent. Remember, one of the last times we had saw Eva Marie on a regular basis, she was doing some form of trolling. Remember, for the longest time, she had spent weeks. Oh, here it comes. It's the in-ring debut of Eva Marie. And she just kept doing these fucking teasers and all that. And I remember when we finally did get to see her wrestle, you know, I don't care what some people may say, how some people may feel. I actually thought she was off to a pretty decent start and everything. So leave it to WWE to kind of follow along there in consistency and how they had booked Eva Marie there. What they did this past Monday, it fits so perfectly there. It fits so perfectly. I just love the fact that we had all these little vignettes of Eva Marie, the evolution, right? Evolution and trying to be an inspiration to others and all this other shit. And yet what we got Monday was essentially kind of the exact opposite or whatever. I can't wait to hear how, and I don't know if it's all going to happen next week. It may not. This may be a case where it's over the series of a couple of weeks. What made Piper Niven, what made her come into the crosshairs of Eva Marie? You know, but if I was just that fly on the wall and I'm just kind of trying to think ahead a little bit, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a case, where Piper Niven, you know, if I was WWE, after what went down with Piper Niven on social media, I would take that son of a bitch and I would turn it into a storyline. If it was me personally, I would say something along the lines of, if I was Piper Niven, you know, I came under the radar of Eva Marie based on the work that I was doing these past couple of years for WWE down in NXT UK. And you know, I got to a point in my career where, you know, I really started to doubt myself. I started to doubt my worth. I started to doubt my value. And Eva Marie came to me at the right time and she did this for me. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it were me, I would take some of what went down on social media this week and I would kind of use that to maybe get the gears in motion or whatever. Now, that's one way. And I actually really sincerely do hope that that's the direction that they go. They need to. Because sometimes imitation and art can play out pretty well in real life, you know, and vice versa, basically. So I have to wait and see how that pans out. I'm trying to think about some other stuff that went down on Raw. Oh, did you know, by the way? I bet you didn't. And for those of you that don't have the social media engagement like that, now that I'm going to put this out there, you're going to be going back and you're going to be peeping this out now. Were you guys aware that your man was actually part of WWE RAW Thunderdome for this week? Yes, I was there for a majority of the Thunderdome. And where I was particularly, I popped up in front of the hard camera. Some people actually had a hard time, like, okay, hard camera, and it's like, no, when I say hard camera, I mean, you literally could just look at the virtual screens and you would fucking see me. I was in front of the hard camera. I basically was up in the fourth row and I was there for majority of the show. When I say a majority of the show, I would actually have to look at the Raw card, and I'm actually looking at it right now. And let me see which match it was where I came in, because I actually came in a few minutes late. I didn't come in promptly at 8, but I remember getting in front of the computer, and I remember firing it up, going into the Thunderdome, and I was waiting for a seat for several minutes. So bear with me a second here, and I can actually tell you where I came in. See, Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. Maybe Asuka versus Rhea. I remember I was in right there. New Day versus RK Bro. I came in about right there. See, Jeff Hardy versus Cedric Alexander. I kind of feel like, yeah, Charlotte Nikki Cross. I definitely wasn't in on that one. I kind of feel like I came in, if not on Jeff Hardy versus Cedric Alexander, I feel like I came in maybe, I almost feel like for certain I came in around Naomi taking on Eva Marie. But if you start pretty much from that match on, going forward until about the last 5 minutes of the main event match before Raw went off the air, you could see me basically look 4 virtual screens up. So what I mean by that is look at the first row of virtual screens in front of the hard camera, then go to the second row, then go to the third row, go to the fourth row. And as some people that did spot me, because I said, can you spot the Lee? Some people were like, he's the only guy wearing a hat. So they knew, they were able to see me. They just didn't want to give away my location and everything. But some people had actually saw me and all that. So it was pretty cool. And I wasn't overly animated or anything like that. My facial expressions, everything that you see of me that's going on while the action is playing out, I'm actually, legit reacting to it. And my mentality, the way I try to go into it, I try to go into it as if I'm actually at the show in person, because when I'm at the show in person, I'm actually that animated with my face, and I'm actually that animated with my hands and everything, right? So it was cool. It was nice to do the WWE Thunderdome again. I believe this was my second or third time doing the Thunderdome experience. And I liked it. I liked it. What had me do it this go round, I just happened to be free. The missus was working pretty late, and I said to her, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this Thunderdome experience. I'm not doing a show, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna enjoy it. And she was like, okay, hon. She's like, well, I'll see you when I get home. I said, all right, no problem. So that's how I pretty much had ended up doing the Thunderdome. And look, I want to just burst the bubble of a few misconceptions that's out there. I know some people, they kind of have the impression, oh, well, if this person was able to get in on the Thunderdome, they must have been running low on people. They must have not had that many people. No. It's nothing like that at all. It's nothing like that at all. If you're interested in doing the WWE Thunderdome, it's very easy to sign up. Now, if at some point you had did some type of a transaction with WWE, doesn't matter the time period. If you did some type of a transaction with WWE, you had the WWE network, you bought something from WWE shop, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to get some type of an email. If it's not in your main inbox, it's possible it can be put in your promotions tab if you got Google Mail. Or it might be in junk or spam. And, they'll say to you, hey, we want to invite you to the blah, blah, blah Thunderdome. And all you do at that point, it don't cost nothing. All you do, if you're interested, you just open it up and, you fill out your information, email and all that. And if there happens to be some seats available and everything, at that point, they pretty much let you know the day of, okay, here's your email. Call time is at such and such. So like in the case for this past Monday's Raw, the call time was 7 p.m. I didn't feel like getting in front of the computer at that particular time. I said, nah, you know what? After 8, let me go ahead and try to see if I can find a spot. And that's exactly what happened. Because remember, now look, I don't know how it is now, and I could actually find out for you guys while we're live on the air, because I did see an email right before I went live that was talking about the Hell in a Cell, be part of the Thunderdome experience for Hell in a Cell this weekend. But I remember the old way that they had the whole Thunderdome experience come about. Basically, you know, you would open up a link. Yeah, here it is. Hang on a second. I just saw it. Yep, here we go. So, for example, I'm seeing something right now that WWE had sent at 11 a.m. this morning saying register now for your virtual seat, Hell in a Cell and everything. So let's see what happens when I click on it. I'm most curious. Okay, so right now it's telling me to register. So I'm going to go on ahead, because remember, some of these, after you would fill it out, it basically would say, oh, we're filled to the max capacity. But thanks for your interest and all that other shit. Let's see what happens this go round. So click next. Okay. And then you put in your full name, type in your full name after you've read the terms and conditions and you've done the reCAPTCHA check, letting them know you're not a bot. And then you hit the register button. And then once you register, yeah. So that's still implemented. So registration has closed for that particular show. So you'll know if you've done it right, because if you've done it right, you came in a timely manner, then what you'll actually see is something along the lines of, am I confirmed? And basically, when you see that screen, WWE says something along the lines of, you're not confirmed until, you know, you get the call-in email letting you know what time you need to show up and everything for Hell in a Cell. So you definitely, when it comes to those WWE Thunderdome opportunities, you definitely want to make sure that you're checking your mail. Like I said, sometimes it'll end up in your promotionals tab. Other times it may be in your spam or junk. You definitely want to let that system know, no, this is not junk, this isn't spam. Try to set it up in a way where it can pretty much go into your main inbox. That way, whenever, that's how I got mine set up, because I got multiple email accounts. And so, and at some point I've done a transaction unintentionally. I've done a transaction with WWE on like all of those accounts. So I have it set up in a way where whenever WWE sends me something about Thunderdome opportunity, it's in my primary inbox. And then at that point, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm good. So like this morning, I initially did see the email about Hell in a Cell for Sunday, but I'm like, nah, I'm good, because I got to do a post show. I don't want to be doing all that sitting in front of a computer the entire time, you know, just for the Thunderdome and all that. So, you know, you got to be on top of it. That's the main thing. Be on top of it, and you too can pretty much eventually see yourself on TV and all that. What were some other things that had happened on Raw this week? I'm just going through the notes real quick here for Monday's Raw, just trying to see if there's some other things of interest I wanna maybe comment on. I like what's kind of going on there with Jeff Hardy and Cedric Alexander. I'm liking where that rivalry is going there. Random match. I'll definitely admit that a bit random what's going on, but I like their chemistry so far and everything. Let's see what else. New Day taking on RK Bro. That was actually a pretty damn good tag match, actually. Those boys went about 22 minutes and some change. That was actually pretty good. You know, some people may complain about the length of it, but it was a well-built match, I personally felt. Had a decent amount of drama that was in it as well. Good, strong finish to it as well. A lot of props for that one. That actually was pretty damn good. Asuka taking on Rhea Ripley. I had a lot of concern about this match because so much time went into RK Bro and New Day that when it came to Asuka, Rhea Ripley, I was really hoping that the girls would be able to get as close to the same amount of time as the last match had gotten. You know, they can pretty much go in there and really tell a good story. And they went about a little over 11 minutes. It was pretty good. They both, you know, it was a rather solid match. I'll definitely, you know, good solid match. Wasn't exactly wowed on Asuka losing yet again and everything, but you know, it was overall still pretty good. The Alexa Bliss Nia Jax joint, I did not know what the flying fuck that was about. That was probably one of the worst matches I've seen in 2021 so far. You know, on the one hand, on the one hand, I'm happy that we're getting away from the whole Lily Dow thing, because all of that backstage stuff with Lily and all, I just feel that's not gonna fly in front of a WWE paying audience at an arena when WWE does get ready to go live again. I just feel that shit's not going to fly. I feel that there's going to be tons of boos and all that fucking shit. And, you know, if there's anybody on the roster right now that I have a little bit of concerns for when it comes to the return of WWE live events, I'm very concerned with Alexa Bliss. Because remember, let's rewind it to this past WrestleMania and how many people were really, really expecting for Bray Wyatt to get his against Randy Orton there. And when Alexa Bliss showed up, did that whole attack of Mars black licorice bullshit, and we had that weird finish, how everybody just booed the fuck out of it. Nothing personal against Alexa Bliss. They definitely were letting their message vocally be known to the people in the back. They did not appreciate that and everything. I would not be surprised if there is still some type of great back residuals from that's going to have fans essentially shit on Alexa Bliss, mainly for the simple fact that, okay, no Bray Wyatt. I mean, we still got that major elephant in the room there about Bray Wyatt just poof, he's gone and all of that other shit. You know, even if it's a case where he's taking care of some personal matters right now, you're still going to have fans that are going to be pretty sour over what they feel is the continued poor booking of Bray Wyatt. And I really would not be surprised if there was ever a person I'd be really concerned about right now. It's Alexa Bliss. I mean, sure, her stuff has been pretty good up until we got to this whole Shayna Baszler stuff. You know, leading up to it, pretty good. Since getting into the Shayna Baszler stuff, it's been don't really particularly care. You know, the main problem that I had with this match with Nia Jax, it wasn't believable. It just was not believable. Okay, so I'm supposed to take this 410 or 411 little 80-pound, 90-pound little thing, and I'm supposed to legit believe that she's going to be able to beat the crap out of a 6'1", 6'2", you know, maybe 225 girl. Yeah, she might be a little bigger. I'm being nice, okay? I'm being nice. But I'm supposed to be led to the impression that legitimately, yeah, this little pretzel is going to be able to beat the crap out of. I just, no. And then the weird shit there with the head with fucking Reginald. You know what that shit reminded me of? It reminds me when I'm making eye contact with my dog and I'm trying to figure out if my dog wants a fucking treat or not. And, you know, me and her just kind of going back and forth with the fucking head gestures and everything. That's what it kind of fucking reminded me of. That whole thing was just snap, crackle, shizzles. That's what that was to me straight up. Let's see what else. I'm just trying to picture that. Running down the rest of the card here. Nikki Cross defeating Charlotte via countout. John Morrison defeating Jeff Hardy, Starship Pain. Jason Riker defeating Elias via countout. Drew McIntyre beating AJ Styles via DQ. Bobby Lashley interfering. Pretty much sets up Drew McIntyre, Viking Raiders teaming up to defeat AJ Styles, Omos, Bobby Lashley, Claymore to Lashley. I mean, he had a couple of bright spots here and there, but I totally can understand where a majority of the people were coming from that voted, why they voted for this week's poll. So I'm totally right there with you guys. We'll talk NXT in a hot minute. We also got some wrestling related news we can get into as well. We're doing actually pretty good on the Showtime right now too. I'm seeing we've been on for about an hour 15. So I mean we're rocking and rolling. We're doing pretty good. How are you guys liking the new template layout? Definitely let me know. It is a work in progress. I just really want to stress that it's a work in progress. I'm going to continue to tweak it here and there as I see fit. And as we speak, I see something right now with the template that's making me want to just kind of stretch it out a little bit. So let me see something here. Yeah, I want to stretch it out just a little bit here because I'm seeing something. So give me a quick second here. Let me just stretch that like that. And yep, that's a lot better. I was noticing something on my respected right side. It was like a little bit of a red line there. So I wanted to just take that out. But yeah, I just felt I told you guys when we were getting ready to take our little vacation, I said that I was going to be working on some new graphics, some new banners and stuff, work on a new show intro, all that cool stuff. So, you see some of the changes that we have implemented here so far. We got a phone line that's now active as well. I think what we'll do is we'll have the phone line make its debut this weekend during Hell in a Cell. I think that's the best time that we're going to launch it, but I already have a phone number that's pretty much ready to go. So we can do that. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited for that. Yeah, and I mean, oh, hang on a second here. What's going on here? Cool. But yeah, it's we're tweaking it. We're tweaking it here and there. So, but let me know what you think. Let me know. Appreciate all feedback. Good, bad, and different. It's all about making the experience for you guys overall, even more cool, even more kick ass for everybody. Also, in case you guys are not able to tell, I have finally gotten my new mixer set up, and I definitely want to give some mad props. I'm in the red here. Bear with me a second here. I'm looking at the performance window, and I saw we had just hit red. Bear with me a second. I want to actually close a couple of windows here, and at this point, give me a second here. Let me close this one down. Let me close that one. I'll close this one too. Bear with me, guys. I just want to close a couple of windows because I just hit red just now, and that was my first time seeing that. So hang on. And I think we're good. Actually, let me close this one too. Yeah, because the more programs you have on, the harder that it's going to work. And let me actually just minimize this even more. And that should actually, okay, that should help. That should help a lot more. Okay, let me know if if you were noticing any lag or anything, let me know. That's another thing that I was playing around with while I was on break. I was playing around with lag, trying to prevent it. And I was also playing around, just a bunch of technical stuff. I won't bore you guys with it, but there was a whole lot of stuff I was tinkering here and there, trying to up my game a lot more and everything. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. But yeah, we're going to have that Hell in a Cell post show this weekend. That's where I'm going to launch the phone line. So for those of you that, maybe if you wanted to call into the show, I mean, not for nothing, but, a lot of people probably, especially our newer listeners, a lot of newer listeners probably are not aware of this, but when we first started the show back in 2011, and we were just strictly audio only, we actually used to have a call-in number, and there would be a lot of people that would call into the show and everything. And one of the reasons why the phone line had came to an end, honestly, was because we ended our subscription with that original hosting provider. Because back then, my God, I think we were paying like about somewhere between $50 to $100. And it was like, oh, okay, this is just kind of getting a little ridiculous, paying this monthly. And it's like, surely you can save a little bit of money. Not saying, scot-free, for free. But surely, it doesn't have to be so much up front at the very beginning in a podcasting career and everything. So that was one of the reasons why. And then I remember we tried to bring the phone number back a couple of times, but we had a couple of bad apples that had ruined it. And it was kind of sad because sometimes, like, for example, sometimes when we would have female guests that would come on the show, we would have fucking losers that didn't have anything else better to do. And, they would say these, sexual little, it was nasty. I still remember the worst phone call I had ever got for a guest. There was one guy that had called into the show, and I remember him saying, "Oh, finally, I've been saving this load all day." And it was just kind of one of those. It's like, really, dude? It's like, really? One of those type of deals. So, but I'm happy to bring the phone line back this go round, and we'll see what happens. Look, everybody is going to deal with some type of trolling in some shape or form. It comes with the territory. The important thing is to rise above it. When motherfuckers go low, you just continue to take the high road and keep doing you and everything. Hey, you enjoying the show so far? Make sure you go out of your way and you hit that like. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm and everything. If you up for subscribing and all that, that's cool. But if there's one thing I want you to do from that of most importance, definitely hit that like button. All right, so NXT for this week. And no, sadly, I did not get to watch In Your House. When In Your House went down, I still was on vacation / honeymoon. So I'm not probably going to be sitting down and watching In Your House, probably not until maybe later this week, going into the weekend or whatnot. I have a feeling by the time I get to Hell in a Cell, I will have watched the In Your House pay-per-view, but I have not watched it yet. I did see NXT for this week. I did see the fallout from that and everything. Very happy to see that Samoa Joe is back with the WWE, and more particularly that Samoa Joe, not just NXT, but we are going to be able to see him weekly in a on-screen role. I loved how all of this just essentially played out. And, if I got to go with a wrestling MVP of the week, for me, I definitely got to give that nod to Triple H because, look, I know some people, they like to get all caught up on the race talk and everything, but just, put that to the side for a second. There's no fucking denying that Samoa Joe is hands down one of the best fucking in-ring performers that, we've seen of our time within the last 25 years. Dare I say, the wealth of knowledge that this man possesses, the way he's able to go in there and tell, really, really great psychological stories, really help you as that wrestling fan connect. You know, if he wants you to feel a particular way towards him as a heel, he does a fantastic job in channeling out those emotions. Same thing when he's a babyface. Damn good talker, solid in the ring. And, you know, he's a guy that if you are going to start up a wrestling promotion, or you already have that wrestling promotion and you need trainers, you need coaches, you need people that can help you out behind the scenes and try to book a match, figure out the layout and all that. You want to be able to tap into a great mind like Samoa Joe, because Samoa Joe, you know, he's at that midway point in his career, basically. You know, he is pretty much that bridge for the younger guys that's coming on, but he's also that bridge for semi-seasoned guys that's already there, and he's also that bridge for the veterans. You know, so he's a three-way bridge when you really stop and you think about it right now. You just gotta have a person like Samoa Joe part of your company. And you know, the fact that the 42-year-old Samoa Joe was on the chopping block in the first place, that is just fucking mind-blowing. Of all the releases, and I just remember being here on the show, definitely sharing my reactions right before we went on break and everything. So I remember I actually ended my break kind of briefly there to react to the news of the releases and everything, if you guys recall. And just collectively, the entire wrestling community, of all the releases, everybody homed in there on Samoa Joe, Aleister Black, with more talk going towards Samoa Joe, and rightfully so. And to hear that it was actually Triple H behind the scenes, that no. I mean, he pretty much snatched up Samoa Joe as quick as he could, reactivated him, you know, put him back in WWE, but through NXT. You know, it just really makes you take a step back and say, okay, well, first off, did the proper people that were responsible for ultimately letting Samoa Joe go, did they actually reach out to Triple H in some form to let him know what was going on? Because the way this comes off, when you really stop and think about it, the way this comes off, it's almost as if Triple H was on vacation or enjoying a day off from work or whatever. Yeah, honey, I'm gonna take the kids to school. You know, it's almost kind of one of those type of deals. And he's probably just kicking back and, you know, he's playing Tetris or some shit like that. You know, he's just being a normal dad. He's being Paul Levesque. And then the next thing you know, he gets some private message or whatever, whoever, you know, Shawn or whatever, Shawn Michaels. And like, they did what? You know, kind of one of those type of deals. Remember, Triple H was very instrumental, very heavily instrumental in getting Samoa Joe to the WWE. He had been eyeing him for a long time. And when he finally got the opportunity to be able to work with Samoa Joe, remember, look, this is how much Triple H loves him some Samoa Joe and fucked with some Samoa Joe. He allowed essentially Samoa Joe to continue working his independent dates for the other promotions that was out there while contracted officially to WWE. And this wasn't a case where Samoa Joe had like, oh, it was just one fucking date. No. There were multiple dates that Samoa Joe still had out there. And Triple H was very kind enough to let Joe wrap all those dates up before full time under the WWE umbrella and everything. And we saw what became of Samoa Joe in that NXT realm and everything. So that lets you know, I know sometimes Triple H gets a bad rep and everything, and, but I would like to believe in this rare instance, we can kind of take a step back. Even those of us that are the most harshest critics when it comes to Triple H, I would like to believe that common sense, common reasoning, we can kind of take a step back and part one say, in this particular case, yeah, that brother had no business being released from the company because he is one of those plug and play guys. You know, it's very rare you get a guy like a Samoa Joe and you can pretty much just unplug him from this department and plug him in over here. Boom, he is good to go. Okay, you need him as a coach. Okay, great. You need him to do some stuff in the ring. Okay, yeah, great. You need him as a trainer. Okay, all right, cool. Well, you need him as a booker. Okay, cool. You need him as a producer. Okay, yeah, cool. You need him as a commentator, as a color commentator. Yeah, we can do it. I mean, he very seldom and is good at that. Let's make sure we also stress that too. Not just a plug and play guy, but somebody that you can, also plug and play, and they're gonna thrive successfully in every single one of those positions that you put them in. And Joe is definitely one of those rare kind that hits it on all cylinders. So you would like to believe that now that Joe is back with the WWE, if going forward, if you would strongly like to believe that Samoa Joe, for as long as he wants to have a job in WWE, it lets you the impression he's now bulletproof, because the fact that Triple H was the one that went out of his way, no, hell no, we need to bring this dude back, and he very instrumental in bringing him in to WWE, very instrumental this go around, having him come back, pretty much resecuring him, putting him back in there and everything. The fact that for the time being, Samoa Joe is just going to be a on-screen character, I'm totally okay with that. I don't think that we've seen the last of Samoa Joe as a in-ring performer. I think about what went down with Daniel Bryan. I think about what went down with Edge. And I say to that, never say never. Never say never. I just feel that Samoa Joe, there's probably a couple of more tests that he has to do and everything. And, look, I'm glad that it's with WWE because Lord knows that Impact Wrestling or AEW, look, how many times have you watched AEW? Let's be real. How many times have you watched AEW and somebody has gotten injured? That ain't throwing shade at AEW. That ain't AEW haterade talking. That's just straight up sincerity. How many times have you seen somebody in AEW get severely injured? For God fucking sake. We just saw Lio Rush. He made his AEW in-ring debut at the Double or Nothing joint. Got injured in that event as well. And now it pretty much intimidated. I think that's the right word. We don't need to say scared. We just go with intimidated. It intimidated this young brother so much that he decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to retire. And this is like the second or third time that this guy has retired, because now it's kind of feels like a running gag to some people. But no, I wouldn't really be that surprised if Lio Rush just really said to himself, nah, you know what, man? I got my rap career that's going on. The quality of my rap game and the songs that I'm putting out there, it's on point. I don't really need to be doing all of this stuff with the wrestling. I got a young kid that I need to be thinking about. Life changes once a kid is in the picture. The whole world as you know it, it changes completely. So I don't blame the young brother for having that new mindset and just saying, hey, nah, I'm done. But he was the most recent guy that got injured in AEW. I mean, we're in the double digits now of folks that have gotten injured in AEW. So when I look at a guy, particularly like a Samoa Joe, and then the other thing I can't help but think about is, okay, quality over quantity. And right now, all I see is mad quantity when I look at AEW, but I don't really see that much quality. So what are we going to do there with Samoa Joe? Like, seriously, what are we going to do? What's the plan with Samoa Joe? Is the goal to ultimately have him be a world heavyweight champion? Is that the ultimate goal?
Or are we going to see him job out to Young Bucks? Are we going to see him job out to Kenny Omega? We're going to maybe see him work a program with Lance Archer. And, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of good matchups that you could do with him and everything. But I just personally feel that as far as that level of, okay, physically, is this guy going to be okay? All the stuff that's been happening with AEW as of late, which is all those talents that's continuing to be injured left and right. I'm walking on eggshells. If I'm looking at AEW, I'm walking on eggshells cautiously. At least by Samoa Joe continuing to remain in WWE. First of all, from a physical standpoint, he knows that WWE is seriously going to have his best intentions at heart. They are going to try to go above and beyond to, look out for his safety and well-being. Look at that Big Show documentary that had came out a couple of years ago. And remember how when that documentary ended, Big Show had got cleared, and it was just a matter of when, if ever, was WWE going to plug and play Big Show, basically. It was kind of one of those type of deals. So I definitely feel that Samoa Joe will be in the ring a lot sooner rather than later. Definitely. Just the fact that they had him cross over there. I like how I say crossover, by the way, but I like how we had Samoa Joe. Ooh, look at this potential dream matchup we could have. The nice face-off there he had with Karrion Kross. Then you go with the nice face-off he had with Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. I mean, you're just looking at those things and you're just saying to yourself, yeah, these matches eventually, oh yeah, that'd be fucking badass. Hell yeah. So I like those teasers that they put out there, man. And eventually I feel Samoa Joe is going to wrestle. I don't think it's going to be on a long-term basis either. I think, first of all, if you were to ask me straight up, Lee, when do you suspect Samoa Joe is probably going to wrestle? We're pretty much into June right now. I would not be that surprised if by maybe late October, November is when Samoa Joe, we see him in the ring again. I would not be surprised if we saw him in the ring for, maybe a one-time deal, something along those lines. And then maybe a couple of months later, do it again, like particularly as we get closer to WrestleMania or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen again. But late October, early November is what I'm looking at as far as a return for Samoa Joe back into the ring. But for now, just kick back, enjoy what's going on with him as essentially the enforcer. I mean, this for me, it has shades of the Eric Bischoff, Stone Cold Steve Austin, two-man Raw general manager power trip there. That's exactly what it's reminding me of there. And I'm digging it. I'm fucking digging it right now. So, and that was actually not for nothing. That was actually my favorite eras when I look back on WWE Raw. That was one of my most fondest eras was when they were co-managers, co-Raw general managers. I love that shit. So, and I love how going forward, it's pretty much a case where Samoa Joe cannot get physical with any talents unless provoked. And, and as we saw backstage there, he did get provoked in some form. I love how he choked Adam Cole out, man. I love how he just choked his ass out. But yeah, that was a great time. God, what year was that? What fucking year was that? I think that might have been, God, 2003? Is that about right? 2003 for the co-general managers? Or was it 2007? Yeah, see, I'm trying to think about that now. I'm trying to think about that now. Was it 2003 or 2007? It kind of feels like it was. Kind of feels like it was 2000. Oh, hang on a second here, guys. There we go. It kind of feels like it was. I'm gonna say 2003. I don't know why, but 2003 is screaming out to me a lot more than 2007. That seems to make a lot more sense. I'm like 95% certain 2003 is when the co-general managers had went down there. So that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Now definitively we know that Karrion Kross is a heel. Remember there was a couple of weeks there where he was playing up to the crowd, and then other times he was acting kind of heelish. Okay, so now we definitively know that he is a bad guy. So that's good. As you remember, a couple of times off and on here on the show, definitely right before we went on break, I questioned what was going on there with Karrion Kross. Was he a heel, or was he a babyface, or was he a tweener? What exactly was going on there? And the type of promo that he had cut this past Tuesday, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, this is a guy that you're supposed to be booing. This is a guy that you're supposed to be hating. Sadly, based off of the crowd reactions of those that were in attendance for NXT this week, you know, it didn't really go off in true heel-like fashion as far as the reactions go. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that, to be perfectly honest with you. And maybe not for nothing. And it's nothing that Karrion Kross is doing wrong. I don't feel he's doing anything wrong whatsoever. I think this is more so on the fault of those behind the scenes and how, you know, they essentially had him booked and everything. Because remember, we had Karrion Kross, you know, at one point he was the type of champion that was just, hey, you know, you want a shot, you know, just come step up to me. And he's just hanging out backstage and catering, and everybody else just, remember that? It was a couple of weeks there. Nothing was going on with Karrion Kross. Yeah, and then when he would pop up here and there and people are giving him the reactions, he's soaking it up, and he's kind of giving a nice little nod to them and everything. I don't know if that was a case where he was kind of breaking character a little bit or what, but definitely some mixed signals that was going on there. LA Knight beating the holy crap out of $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase after being crowned the new $1 Million champion. You couldn't have booked that any fucking better. Yeah, you want to talk about a way to get some straight up good white heat? That's one way to do it. Cameron Grimes, LA Knight, you know, the feud pretty much intensifies here. Good shit. I love the way that was pretty well laid out and everything. Pretty good plus, major plus from NXT for this week. Cruiserweight title match between Kushida and Trey Baker. Good challenge. Good challenge for Kushida. And what's going to be happening between Kylie O'Reilly and Kushida for the Cruiserweight title, that should be one hell of a matchup. I'm actually looking forward to that one. That should be pretty damn good. Let's see, what else? Yeah, you know what? The Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez taking on Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. That actually was a pretty damn good tag match there. Went about almost 15 minutes. A little sloppy in a couple of areas and everything. But I'm continuing to enjoy the work and pairing of Catanzaro and Carter. They're making a pretty damn good argument of being a really good damn tag team and everything. So at some point I definitely would love to see them take on God, I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. It'll come to me in a quick minute. But Indy Hartwell and her name's not Lacey Evans. Mrs. Gargano. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. That has never happened to me before. As long as I've been talking about her, and I've been talking about her for years on this show. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. Why can I not remember her name? See, that's gonna bother me now. That's what happens, man. You get old and or older, and yeah, that's what happens. Candice LeRae, that's her name. Candice LeRae. So I knew it would come to me eventually before you guys got on my ass. But yeah, I think that would be a pretty good matchup. Still no sign of our boy Dexter Lumis. You know, I was, of all the people for this week, I was really looking forward to seeing him, and he didn't show up, so that kind of sucked there. Io Shirai, happy to be back. She was cutting a promo. All of a sudden, she got jumped by Candice LeRae. We're just talking about them too. She got jumped by Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, but then coming to the rescue, Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark coming to the rescue, and that was pretty good. Nice little fight around the announcers table and all that. That was a nice little brawl that came about. Yeah, that was pretty good. So safe to say maybe next week we're going to see Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell take on Zoe Stark, Io Shirai. I'm down with that. Diamond Mine is supposedly going to be opening up next week. So, we've been seeing some of those teasers here and there. One of the guys we actually got, just for a brief second, we got to see him, and there's now a name that's attached to that guy. I don't want to spoil it for some of you guys if maybe you didn't watch NXT for this week yet, or you kind of just want to let the mystery, the suspense build up for another week. But one of the guys we kind of already know who's part of that stable and everything. But for me, really the biggest selling point, the biggest story from NXT this week was Samoa Joe making his triumphant return. Guy should have never been let go in the first fucking place. Some other quick results that happened with regards to NXT for this week. Breezango defeated Imperium. Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher defeated the Grizzled Young Veterans. That pretty much was it. We pretty much talked about the other matches already. So pretty decent show overall. Yeah, pretty decent show overall. So now that you see what happened there with Samoa Joe, now you can't help but wonder, okay, so what about maybe a guy like Aleister Black? Is it possible that maybe he could eventually make his return to WWE a lot sooner rather than later, and actually make his return to the NXT brand? Very well possible after seeing what we saw of Triple H. So, look, I know a lot of people were hurt by seeing some of these people get released. It just kind of, look, not for nothing, but just because a person gets released from the company, it doesn't mean that that's it. Like, they're never going to be back in the WWE once again. And, look, not for nothing, but when it's all said and done, and I wouldn't be surprised if Aleister Black said what he said during his Twitch stream and putting over WWE Creative, putting over the writers and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if he said what he said, all in the name of ultimately staying face, and having in the back of his mind, knowing that at some point he may be able to do business with the WWE once again. He definitely wants to leave that door open and everything. And I'm sure after probably seeing Samoa Joe come on back, I'm sure he's probably saying to himself, hey, not from nothing, maybe there's some help for me as well. Maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel. That could possibly be me as well. Time will tell, but if you ask me straight up, as far as any other names that's jumping out at me of, okay, you know what, maybe Triple H can kind of step in here and grab this person up. Out of all that were released, I would say, besides Samoa Joe, go for Aleister Black as well, and everybody else, that's it. Everybody else, you're good. You're good. And if you were to really, so wait a minute, Lee, you're going to go with Aleister Black over Braun Strowman? Yes. Yes, I'm going to go with Aleister Black over Braun Strowman. Yes. I just feel that I could do a lot more, universally speaking, with a guy like Aleister Black as opposed to a guy like Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is beyond repairable right now in the WWE universe. So much creatively. Just everything that was creative standpoint, everything that was ever written for Braun Strowman and everything. I mean, that guy got destroyed so badly. You know, we need to see him go somewhere else, rebuild himself, maybe change his look drastically. You know, we need to see something go down with Braun, and he needs to be doing something for another promotion on the independents, whatever, really tearing it up and everything. And, you know, give him about a year or two, he comes on back. That's how I'm kind of feeling right now. But WWE, you know, they did some serious harm to him. They really, really did. And I don't say that lightly. Bear in mind, I don't say that lightly. So AEW is set to make its debut in New York City with the Dynamite Grand Slam. You guys hear about this? So, yeah, apparently Tony Khan had first broke the news out. They're going to be going to New York City on September 22nd for a special episode of Dynamite. The episode is called Dynamite Grand Slam. It's going to be happening at the Arthur Ashe Tennis Stadium in Flushing, New York. Tickets will go on sale July 16th. This is a venue that first opened up in 1997. Yeah, 1997. Previously hosted the U.S. Open. So it can seat about 23,000 people. So it's and that was just for a tennis event. So just imagine what they might be able to do for a wrestling event. It's got a retractable roof and all that. So I mean, this is pretty cool. This is actually pretty cool. So my shout out to AEW for doing that. I'm looking forward to it because they got that event. There's another one that's going to be in the New York area, I think at the Prudential Center. That's actually more in New Jersey. But I remember there was one other New York venue that they got. So, I mean, they're up around as far as that Northeast area going down this summer. I mean, they are hitting it up. So, if you guys have ever thought about going to an AEW event, look, not for nothing, I looked up some of the ticket price information from earlier today, and the ticket prices are very reasonable. Very, very reasonable. There's like an ultimate AEW VIP package, and it's like $239. Now, I think that's before taxes, but basically, you know, from what all I saw, you get access to a little lounging area where you get to eat some appetizers. You can have one alcoholic beverage. You get a commemorative photo. You get a commemorative seat that you can pretty much take home with you after the event is over. You get a hostess, you know, your own little nice hostess to your seat. And I would imagine if you want some food, drinks, or whatever while you're at the event, you know, one in those first 3 rows, I would imagine, you know, that personal hostess will hook you up and all that. There's like 2 other perks that you get as well, but it was like $239. And then you got one that's basically, what was it, like $125, $135, that basically you don't get the lounge area, you know, eating the appetizers. You don't get that. And there's like one other thing, but everything else you pretty much got from the $239 tier. So, I mean, pretty damn good. So, I mean, that's actually pretty damn good. Look, if you were to ask me straight up, would I actually go to a AEW event? Not for nothing, but if you guys recall, and it was way before the pandemic, AEW had actually brought the action out here to DC. Now, what I can't remember, you know, because it feels like such an eternity now, I can't remember where AEW was. Like, I can't remember if they were at the Verizon Center but they were somewhere in DC. That much I do remember. I kind of want to say they were at the Verizon Center. I was actually trying my best to go to that event, but work was just, it was kind of hard to get that personal time and everything. But I definitely, I want to see a couple of more dates that's going to be opening up and everything. I definitely would be interested in going to a AEW event, especially if, heaven forbid, but if they're not going to be doing anything in the DC metropolitan area, then yeah, New Jersey, New York. I mean, basically that's a 4-hour drive for me. I wouldn't mind going into an event like that. So, we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted, because right now my attention is on AwesomeCon. That's where all of because that's coming up in August. So I am looking at that with a passion right now, because a lot of what's supposed to be happening with AEW is going to be going down in September. Tickets for those events, all on that northeast coast region, tickets aren't supposed to be going on sale until July. So for me right now, I'm still focused on AwesomeCon. I'm focused on the room for that weekend. I'm also focused on whether or not I'm approved for a panel, because I actually had put in electronically, I had put in the paperwork to have a panel at AwesomeCon, talking wrestling and other stuff with some special guests, also press passes and all that. So I'm got my fingers crossed for that. So hopefully I'll be hearing something, because that's supposed to be happening in August, and here we are in June, and I haven't heard anything yet. They haven't even let the press passes go live yet. The press pass application, that hasn't even gone live yet. So I'm just sitting back looking at that going, okay, what's the 411? Your guess is as good as mine, but that's good news for AEW. I'm really, really happy that, now that we're kind of getting past this pandemic, promotions like AEW, WWE, and others, they're now, hey, all right, let's go back out there on the road. Let's launch these live tickets and everything. By the way, while it's still early, I don't know if you guys are big supporters of hers. If you are, you'll find this news pretty cool if you didn't know about it. But in case you aren't aware, looks as though all signs seem to indicate the lovely Selina De La Renta is going to be working with WWE. And she was spotted at the Performance Center earlier this week, so take that for what it's worth. Remember, she just wrapped things up with the MLW promotion back in May, so she's been putting a lot of these cryptic messages out there and everything. But one thing that's been very consistent these past couple of weeks has been her store, and pretty much she has dubbed it the end, right? End of an era. That's pretty much how she's been dubbing it and everything. So if you go on her website right now, she's got a boatload of stuff that's off. She pretty much had already took like about, I don't know, like maybe 50-60% off. And I think just today alone, she introduced a promo code, The End. Now you're thinking, oh, THEEND. No, it's THEND. Take one E off, right? And basically that can give you another 30% off. So if you guys are interested and you always wanted to represent, check out her shit and everything, definitely go to her website. And her website, you can head on over to, give me a second here. I want to say it's SelinaDeLaRenta.com. Let's see here. Where's your website, buddy? Where's your website? Trying to find her. Yeah, go to SelinaDeLaRenta.com, and you can pretty much. I actually bought some stuff. I actually did. I got an 8x10 coming. I really wanted to get a t-shirt. She had some really cool designs, but there was nothing that definitively jumped out at me that would have me go, okay, I would push that. Like the closest I actually came to buying, there was a property of Selina De La Renta shirt. I was thinking about buying that, but it was like yeah, but there's only going to be like a small, intimate group of wrestling fans that's going to get that little reference and everything. So there's just certain wrestling shirts that you look at and you just go, yeah, unless I'm going to this wrestling event, I really can't wear this out in the open, But check it out. If you guys want to represent, check out her site and everything. She got some really nice, cool stuff that's on there and everything. How are we doing on Showtime, by the way? Let me check on the Showtime. We're doing pretty good. All right, so we're about to hit the 2-hour mark. I'm trying to just... What else going on? So the Raw rating for this week, in case you guys are not aware, Raw saw a little bit of a small increase going into this weekend's Hell in a Cell. Looks like Monday's show drew a 0.49 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic and 1.742 million viewers. So nutshell, numbers are up 2% and 6% compared to last week's episode, which had a 0.48 demo rating in the audience of 1.640 million. So that's not really too bad. That's not really too bad at all. And in some other news, Tammy Sytch, aka Sunny, she was released from jail earlier this month. Yes, she is out yet again. She is racking it up on OnlyFans and all that. Remember, she was arrested last summer, and she had got the following charges: eluding a police officer, contempt violation of a domestic violence restraining order, operating a motor vehicle during a second license suspension. So she was in jail for a nice good little bit. Look, whether or not she's going to be able to keep her demons in check, that remains to be seen and everything. But, hey, it is what it is. Shout out to WWE and A&E, as the A&E biography on Bret Hart from last weekend did pretty good. Got over 600,000 viewers. It averaged a 0.26 rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic, up from the Booker T episode, which drew 595,000 viewers. So down from the Randy Savage episode, however, which drew 790,000 viewers, and the Steve Austin episode, which drew a little bit over 1 million. So, but I mean, still, relatively good numbers and everything. Look, some of those A&E biographies, they don't particularly do anything for me, because it's like, okay, well, I've already heard these stories so many times. It's like, for example, how much more am I going to learn from Bret Hart and the goddamn Montreal screw job? You feel where I'm coming from? After you've heard it a handful of times, you're pretty much like, you know what? I get it. Really, I do. I get it. I'm moving right along. You just got to keep it moving along, man. So, but I mean, for the newer fans, go ahead, check it out. But as I'm always quick to say and remind you guys, always make sure that you don't just walk away with whatever the story is being spun on you from watching that A&E doc. Try to go out of your way to read the autobiography, especially those that were not published by WWE, right? Because you're going to get a lot more candidness, out of those books, out of those source materials, than you would with something that's pretty much under the WWE umbrella and everything. Shout out to Fred Rozier. Guy officially signed an exclusive contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Not exactly sure what this means as far as his future with the NWA promotion. Hopefully we get to continue seeing him work in NWA. Fingers crossed for that, because I felt he's been a great addition to New Japan. So, we'll see what happens with that. We were talking about biography earlier. Dark Side of the Ring, as you guys know, they did their season finale last week, and they are on break until I'm trying to think, because season 3 had began, what was it, May 6th. They're coming back in September, if I remember it right. And some of the episodes that they're going to be tackling, is God, I'm trying to think. It'll come to me. I had the names like off the top of my head, but this week on Vice, they're doing the Chyna documentary. So, and that's not Dark Side of the Crew related. Jason Eisner, Evan Husney, they have nothing to do with that Chyna doc. And from all accounts, from what I was able to research, this is not that Chyna documentary from a couple of years back that she was trying to do and have a Kickstarter, and that slime ball of a director that the family doesn't like. He's sitting on a bunch of Chyna material and all that. It's not that guy. This is not his Chyna documentary. This is completely new, different team. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll actually be watching that Chyna documentary Thursday night, and I'll definitely let you guys know what I think about that joint in real time. I don't know, depending on how I'm feeling, I may do something live after that special is over. We'll wait and see. FYI, SummerSlam tickets is on sale as we speak. SummerSlam tickets went on sale as of yesterday, so check out some of those prices when you get a chance. By the way, we're talking about NWA earlier there with regards to Fred Rozier, Darren Young getting that deal with New Japan. Shout out to Mickie James. I didn't get a chance to talk about that on the NWA Power episode, but in case you aren't aware, Mickie James is actually going to be the spearhead, the brains, the force, along with Billy Corgan, in a NWA All-Women pay-per-view event show that's going to be happening later this summer. I'm pretty ecstatic for that. One of the things that's kind of jumping out at me right now is who's some of the females that Mickie James is maybe going to try to call in favors and see. And I mean, just off the break, I can't help but go, well, wait a minute. She's got that partnership thing that's going on with SoCal Val, Gail Kim, because they do a podcast together. They got a business venture together and everything. So I can't help but say, if there were ever some girls, those would be the three I'm eyeballing. I also can't help but wonder, well, what about Trish Stratus? Would Trish Stratus, as a personal favor, would she, and I mean, look, if I'm Trish Stratus, I'm gonna fucking do it. It's like, I think Trish Stratus is one of those people that she's bulletproof. I just don't see WWE being so mad, so bent out of shape and all that shit with her. I definitely see them continuing to have a healthy, respectable relationship with Trish Stratus. But yeah, that would be something if she was able to get Trish Stratus. That really, really, really would be something. What about AJ Lee? You would like to believe that ODB for sure is probably gonna, right? Because from what all accounts, I remember Mickie James and ODB, they got along pretty well with each other and everything. So I'm very curious as far as the women that's going to be showing up on this NWA card. I'm very, very curious who all is going to be on it for this event and everything. You would like to believe in some shape or form Velvet Sky, of all people, would definitely be involved with that, right? I mean, after all, she's a color commentator for NWA each and every single week. By all accounts, she ain't injured or nothing like that. So, right? So I'm looking forward to that. I gotta say, I'm legit looking forward to that event. I will be checking it out for sure. We got an idea on how some of the past couple of episodes of Impact Wrestling has been doing ratings wise. Last Thursday's episode on Access TV, that was their go home for the Against All Odds pay-per-view. Brought in 124,000 viewers. Also had a 0.5 rating in 18 to 49 demo. Down 13.3% from the June 3rd episode, which drew 143,000. That respected episode was up 25% in the demo, which had a 0.04 rating. So while we're talking about ratings, by the way, look, that whole Kenny Omega experiment, Impact, I did not order that against all odds. I just had a really sick, bad feeling in my stomach that Moose was not going to become the new Impact World Heavyweight Champion. And by all accounts, yeah, it didn't happen. You know, now you're hearing the rumblings there, and shout out to the good kind people over at Fightful. They're reporting that apparently Moose has re-upped his deal with Impact Wrestling. He's going to be with them through 2023. So, you know, you hear that, but I can't help but say, you know, well, hey, I'm happy for the man. You know, yeah, you know, get that money. Especially if Impact was willing to give you more and the creative freedom and all of that. But, man, hopefully there's a guaranteed championship run that's going to be part of that deal because, man, it just feels like this guy should have been a champion a long time ago. You know, if you were to kind of go back to one particular period in Moose's career so far where you're like, okay, this is now that time. You know, you could definitely make the argument about Kenny Omega and all that, or you can really rewind it back, take it back to that great feud / program he had going on with EC3. Just saying. Speaking of ratings, rating for last Friday's AEW Dynamite, 0.19 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, 487 viewers. 487,000 viewers. I'm going to repeat that again. 487,000 viewers. Up 5% from the previous week's 0.19 demo rating. That averaged 462,000 viewers. Remember, the very first Friday AEW Dynamite that aired at 10 p.m. was on May 26th, and it did a 0.2 demo rating and averaged 526,000 viewers. And FYI, there's a lot of conflicting information out there about the next couple of weeks for AEW Dynamite programming. The way it's looking right now, this coming Friday, AEW Dynamite is going to be on at 10 o'clock. The following week, AEW Dynamite is going to move to Saturday night. And then afterwards, it'll be back in its Wednesday time slot. So basically, that should be Wednesday, June 30th, that it'll be back in its regular time slot. Originally, it wasn't supposed to go back to its regular time slot until July. But it looks like June 30th, you'll be able to see Dynamite back in its regular time slot. But mark that down in your calendars. Make sure you got your DVR set and all that. This Friday, the 18th, it'll be on. And then the following week, which will be Saturday the 26th, AEW Dynamite will be on that Saturday. And then Wednesday, June 30th, it'll go back to its Wednesday time slot. So kind of hard to keep up. I was telling a buddy earlier today, I said, damn, dude. I mean, it's being done like some old TNA shit, man. This is like exactly what was going on with TNA back in the day when they were on FSN, if you guys remember that. I mean, they were bouncing all over the place. I can remember times where I would catch a new episode of TNA at like 1 o'clock Saturday morning or 2-3 o'clock Saturday morning, and then it got pushed into Sunday morning 1 a.m. or Sunday morning 2 or 3 a.m. It was getting ridiculous. I remember there were even times where it would come on at like 11 in the morning or some shit like that. I mean, it was just getting ridiculous. Seriously, it was getting fucking ridiculous. Shout out to veteran wrestler Gangrel. Gangrel is going to be starting up a new podcast soon. I've always had great appreciation, always been a supporter of Gangrel. I can't wait to actually listen to it. I will listen to it and I will let you guys know what's going on with that podcast. He's going to have a YouTube channel and all that. I think the YouTube channel is already set up too, but I know that there has been some type of a trade paperwork filing and all that he's done for the show already. I believe it's called Fanging. So like fangs. I believe it's called Fanging and Banging. So I mean, that's a kick-ass name. I fucking love that. So I can't wait to listen to that. I'm hoping the way I'm picturing the show and everything, I'm sure he's going to have some hilarious funny ass stories. I can't wait to hear what type of guests he's gonna be able to have on there and everything. So that should be pretty solid. I'm looking forward to that. See what else. One last piece of news that we can get into. Well, actually, you know what? Let's save that because we're going to be coming right back here Friday night, right? All right, so here's what we got for programming. And it wasn't anything major. It kind of was, but it would be a little bit long-winded, and I think it makes more sense to talk about it on the Friday show. But it has to do with AEW and how they're doing numbers-wise so far since they've had this partnership deal with Turner Sports and everything. So we'll dive into all of that on Friday show. But for programming notes, here's what's going down. Friday, new RCWR show. We're going to be coming on at 10 p.m. Eastern. I know that Dynamite is going to be on during that time frame. On the one hand, we could either do a Friday night show at 10 p.m. or on the other hand, we can do a Saturday late afternoon show. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a poll up for you guys. That poll will be active, not tonight, but the poll will be active first thing Thursday early afternoon on our YouTube channel. So youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab and you'll see the poll. Let me know if you want that show Friday night after SmackDown, or you want to get that show instead Saturday afternoon. I'll try to do it around the time where I know, based on the analytics, a lot of people will be active. They'll be on YouTube and all that, because that's pretty much how I want to try to set it up. But on that show, we'll talk about SmackDown, and depending on if you want it to be a Saturday show, we'll obviously talk about AEW Dynamite, right? We'll also preview Hell in a Cell for this Sunday. We'll go over match predictions and all that. We'll talk about that AEW TNT deal, crunching the numbers. That's all. Put that in the back of your mind. It's all about crunching the numbers. And we'll get into some more little tidbits, okay? So that's going to be a really good show, I promise you guys. And then, of course, we're going to have our Hell in a Cell post-show. Remember, we're going to have our phone line reactivated. You'll be able to call in, all that good stuff. So looking forward to that. I'm still doing some tweaks here and there, so bear with me as far as what's going on with the new layout and just everything that I had mentioned earlier. Remember your feedback. I need your feedback. Let me know how you've been enjoying some of all the new stuff that we got planned for you guys and all that. I do want to promote our Patreon page. If you are a big supporter of the show, do consider being a Patreon member. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio content, video content, exclusive content you won't be able to find anywhere else. If you notice the past couple of shows, I haven't been promoting our Patreon members, and there's a reason for that. Sadly, some of our Patreon members have been harassed by folks that's not part of the Patreon familia. They've been harassed in a form of what's the right words I want to say. They've been harassed from the standpoint of God, I'm trying to find the right words, because on the one hand, when I say harassed, first thing that comes to your mind is, oh man, somebody's being bullied, somebody's being picked on, and it's not anything like that. But I've actually had a couple of Patreons that's been like, hey Lee, I appreciate you doing the shout outs and all that, but there's been this weird person over here that has been trying to message me, get all buddy chum, and they're kind of giving me weird vibes. Have you ever heard of this person before? And it's like, yeah, what's the name? And they throw to me a couple of names, like, no, I've never heard of that person. No, sorry. Or yeah, I actually have heard of that person. You said that they messaged you or whatever. So I'm taking it easy doing the Patreon names and all that out of respect to some of our Patreons. But you Patreon members, you guys know definitely who you are. I appreciate your love and support as always. That's the only time I'm going to mention that, by the way, but I'm just mentioning it just so, you know, I hear you. I hear you. I feel your pain and all that good stuff, right? No, seriously, I do hear you though. But yeah, patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio, video content. Cause you know, not everybody likes to have their names. You know, you got some people, you know, hey, appreciate, you know, you don't need to mention my name. Like, hey, I'm just happy to support the show. And it's like, oh, okay, well, hey, that's good enough. That's good enough for me. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR show. And once again, shout out to everybody that had joined us during the live stream. Shout out to Steve, shout out to Nate, shout out to, you know, you lurkers out there. Sometimes there's a decent amount of you guys that just like to quietly check out the show live and everything, be entertained. Happy to be back doing it for you guys. Appreciate the congratulations once again on the marriage from everybody. I don't want to leave just one person out, because, you know, once you start going that individual route, many people start to expect a personal acknowledgement as well. Acknowledge me, you know, it's just, you know, look at me, love me, you know, one of those deals. So, everybody, appreciate you. You know who you are. You reached out throughout social media to give me a congrats. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. And, let's see. Nate, sup Lee, not sure about the Eva stuff. Doesn't really make sense to have someone compete for you. That's one interpretation, but you know what? I'm enjoying this for what it's worth. I'm not gonna psycho overanalyze. You know, my curiosity is at a all-time high. And remember how it was last left off. We're led to the impression that Eva Marie is Piper Niven, so to speak. Or that somehow Eva Marie and Piper Niven are sharing the Eva Marie name. So I need to know a lot more about what's going on and how exactly this exploitation of a loophole was gone about for what went down this week and everything. So, you know, look, we got to do this like a cake in the oven. You know what they say about putting the cake in the oven, right? You just did the batter. You just put it in the cake pan. You just put it in the oven. Yo. Pump the brakes. As tempted as you are to, you know, open that oven door and, you know, see if you can go ahead and eat it, you know damn well you got to wait a little bit, right? You got to wait till it bakes properly. And then even at that, it's got to cool off. You know, then you take it out of the cake pan, then you start putting the frosting on. But wait, you can't dig in just yet. You got to let it cool off a little bit more. Remember, you can't have that frosting on that cake on it too soon, because then it's going to be all hot and melting all over the place. So you don't want that. So guys, just wait. Just wait. Let's see how everything plays out. As I get ready to make my exit, you had yourself a good one time. Please, once again, make sure you hit that like. If you end up subscribing, which I appreciate, click on the bell notification so you know about more content that comes your way on a regular basis. But at least hit that like button. Lets the YouTube algorithm team know you had enjoyed yourself, your time here checking out this episode. All right. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords the RCWR show. And that's going to do it. Until next go around, wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go around. Adios.